Hello! Here we are with the word of the week. The word of the week is entrance for the fourth week of the month. Every fourth week of the month, I try to blend and talk about the outside, what's surrounding the scene, the scenography, the environment. Great. The weather, the atmosphere, entity beyond the self, as to say, could be a social situation, right, going on that's not as things that are part of a scenario or plans that are not part of movement. So it could be a surrounding aesthetic as well, is to say, is the pattern of that culture, the pattern of that age on time, that era. There is the blend to the art, which is being manifested as a tradition as well and maintained. And even if you are from that part and you go away, you represent the entity as such from that scenario that could be a state, as a state of mind, because every culture has its own state of mind as well. So the scenario could be depicted within oneself as well, because one has a voice for that, and one represents that wherever one goes, even if one doesn't want to. For some reason, one was born there, for whatever reason. So entrance, yeah, because I am talking about what is the multiverse and what creates many actors, players, role players, creating a storyline. As a script writer and a role player, you become the actor of as well of many characters. One of the rules of role play is that you must have more than one character, because you could get stuck in character and get to think you are that. That is dangerous for the ego, unless for certain in real life we need some people that represent something that everybody wants. So we need to embrace that ego, and that has happened many times, and we need to do that as a group of any part of the world, or a worldly mission that is collective, for something that can benefit us all. If there is one person that will need to nourish his or her character, it's okay that this person is stuck on character, because it needs a lot of fuel and energy from everyone to keep on with the adversities which do exist. So look at that. My studio is a mess because I am moving, or I'm decorating this scenario, or I'm moving. So I have a few options, but I don't know where. I always wanted my children to study in Eton, or when I was in Spain to study where I study in the School of the Prince of Spain, who is now the King of Spain. I was taking them to India, so I missed it pretty much, and it was a heavenly place to be with, and it was very strict. And I had a strong sense of pride, proud with everyone, just to be there, to be able to have that education, and everything was beautiful. In order to give, we were trained to give, trained, were trained to confront, to say what matters most. We were trained to be leaders. So my parents would always say for me to fight and to be a leader, not to be bossed. But we always have a boss, and we always have someone who is superior than us. And that is important to know in your scenario, in your environment, to have respect towards those who have more. That is shown throughout history as we're born, get older, and these are roles that are to be respected. In role play, we learn that, and we play many roles. So we see the beauty in all of the positions, in all of the places. The same energy it is there is to give, is to receive. So, anyways, we are in a constant entrance and exits. So last week talk about the door, because we ourselves have we are as doors as well. The thing is that when you enter into a scenario, you see the entrance there. So on the first seconds, you already, no matter how much prepared you are, it is always new when you enter. There is, no matter how much you have studied, no matter how much you have prepared for it, well, we need to be prepared, and we're in a constant preparation. Just to make one masterpiece is a constant preparation. So with my main characteristics, I used to ask in the private, because it is a river that's the boundary between life and death, as a river in Greek mythology. And it's not only a boundary between life and death, it's also a boundary between the heavens and the hells. It's a boundary, but at the same time, it gives passage with 𝙬𝙗, not as a river, but with 𝙬𝙗. So the elements at play are very important, because you could be, as a person, part of many dimensions or scenarios and verses, or just go to work, home, and repeat, no matter how many people you meet, repeat. But you can as well be a vessel to carry values that are human and spiritual as well. It teaches the worth and values to those who need it as well. so we can all become greater in essence to anything that you want to call whatever it is that you like. So for Styx was very important. This was an ordinary character. This is a character that is also the boundary between life and death. So all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts. So I would ask, what is your entrance and what is your exit? This has also to do when we're born to fulfill. And we don't fulfill it, we will die by it. Sorrows and bitterness. Um, that is the reason of our death, it is said. So, just to fulfill the promise, we get to have a life that is wholly fulfilled, as to say, of being the paradise, right? So the character would be a little more aware of whom is it willing with, because it's also Styx is the binding oath, the highest binding oath to gods and mortals. So one thing is to be behind a door, and another thing is to already be in the stage. So imagine you are born and you have this ancient memory that is there within you. Could be from ancestors, could be from what's teaching thought to you. Now in role play, when you have you want to have fun. So, you have your things to do and then you're just there in your private, nobody's watching you, and you can do whatever you want within the rules of role play, which are more so the story continues. They are to protect the wilderness of imagination. Which if you are more and more into it goes very fast. It goes right now. It is standby and played one by one in internet. So even though I have the formula that's not fully given, and I hope to give it to the person that I gave it at first sight, and that he makes something out of his large investment to see the motion of it. So there are many players, there are many role players, but there are not so many as to say there are thousands. When you say the entrance is because you have already entered. So I'm not joking for the year 2023. I'm not talking about politics, really. I'm not being fun. I'm not saying anything new. I'm just being very plain and boring because I've been enough. So I don't expect to have a living from making recordings. Never did. So um, it is hard. It's difficult to think that can be so boring when you have something to give, and there's so many problems that are coming on and on and on and on, and there is no reflection but a continuous repetition. So, well, I like to get personal and talk about my life, my private life sometimes. It reflects who I am. Now, when I'm playing characters, nobody knows my real life. Nobody knows who I am, my picture, nobody knows my name. They only know the character, and that's it. And that's one of the rules that makes it 100% believable to the story. As in cinema, it has to be believable. Even if what you're writing is science fiction and makes no sense, it has to be believable. So as we are entering into we have not just entered like that, we've been preparing perhaps all our lives to enter into a scenario where we are engraving what is virtual reality in a fantasy. Yeah. So there is a real life as well and the boundaries, but we will need a lot of players in the every scenario to bring other players, and hopefully there is no fight so we can move accordingly. It's faster and stronger, so it's incisive to see all the needs that we have in the world in real life and how fun it is in the fantasy world. The scenario has been more or less prepared. It will be easier to know that the cookies are over, and it's even, we don't have to press all these buttons, yes, no, yes, no. So what happens when you're role playing? You learn and study and gather as much information, and the hint of looking for that information, it is your will to get that and learn that. You want to make this character, you want to feed this character, you want to make as many stories and visuals to give it more power. It's not something that you just click on it. You elaborate. The eighth art, that is how I call it, the eighth art of virtual reality for the fantasy world. And real life has to be as real life is. All these people that think to be characters have mental illness and a very low self-esteem. They need to be something they're not. So yeah, you can create your personality as you want, but when people are misfits or people are artists do that because they need to scream and express continuously. It might get to some where it's just like birds singing, where it is just your form of being, that art never ends. The problem is that most of these people that are looking for followers are not really artists. Some artists that you see their music is transcendental, it will stay forever because it's timeless. It's a masterpiece that is immortal. They all say all they wanted was to play music one after the other, not be after shows. They want it just to be high with their art on and on. That's something I crave. Don't recognize myself to be an artist. My claim is for everyone to have their birthright to be creative. Instead of watching others or being online 7, 8 hours clicking, watching TV before, to make their own fantasy world and interaction with others. Not as a video game, because everything is already programmed. Programmers are not as intelligent as they think they are. There are many more talents out there. They could as well learn. It has much to do by learning. Learn other skills, other forms of perception. And so I try myself not to give the game away, not to give all the rules or the formula away, so I can have my percentage, and I can give it then when it's an agreement. Any person that come to me and can be the person who owns it in order to prepare it. It could be prepared in the private. It's very frustrating because everyone has to come together to cut the cake. So we can play and let it roll harmoniously. So I have called for Russia and other countries because we are going to evolve very fast and they also need to join. And if they want to be fighting, they're going to slow down their skills. So that will be their problem, not ours. We cannot stop because of them wanting more problems, right? So democracy has problems, but it has advanced more than dictatorship. And from my perspective, everyone is equally in control, wanting control. All these white men or Arab men, Chinese men, they want control. In bed, they're the same and finish very fast unless they have some drug. So it's not very healthy and natural to the concept of what I am bringing to the table, to press your buttons and become more flexible and open for that which is entering on this new era. It will auto-destroy by itself. So I'm inviting you to not let that happen, so you can make your own adjustment, your own shift. You must give power to the younger people and teach them the old ways of controlling, wars, sabotage, because that's also an auto-sabotage. We are going to be moving and thinking in other ways. Some people are already there and have no interest in going into the caveman way of being. So it is very important for everyone to father this, to mother this, to sister this, to brother this form of being within fantasy world and within the real realms of real life, because there are a lot of people that need their basic rights. Basic, right? So you cannot judge a wall because of a few. But still, we have those few to let the majority take care of their space. So they are owners of their space to take care of what they can and bring their understanding their scenarios. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to go from Canada to America and have an interview, and you don't have to think nothing about it because you know it's your friend. Another thing, go to South America. Yeah, you're not gonna prepare your interview. Where you want out of it? You want to get out alive, right? So even if you wanna, or you might be asked certain questions, you want to display that in the most harmonious way and respectful, so you get out alive, right? So I'm talking about role play and hardcore crossovers. For example, some characters can crossover. So the past, or whatever the screen would say, that's the future in the screen. The past, that's the timeline. That is the, let's say, the consciousness and the underground and consciousness. That could be conscious as well, because they work there. And there are some characters that can be everywhere in the fictional realm. Now, when you see the difference with real life, you see that entrance is much potent and you are fragile. Yeah, because they can kill you in role play, but if they kill you in real life, that's it. There's no return. So one prepares. Yeah, one listens more. Like, okay, I should dress in that way there. God's heaven. Unless you are centering other characters or you're entering through other scenarios where that entrance is giving a pause. So the other one replies, even though you're giving a very short, you're having a shortcut entrance to avoid all this. So some characters can do that because they have that power that others not. Or they have something, right? So that's the point. That is the point. There is the point. And you systematically, because I wanted to show a little bit here. This is a mess, right? So, all right. So, well, before I started selling this formula, it was a nice sunset there. So before starting to, well, I was 1 year waiting because I couldn't just say, hey, why didn't you respond to me? I was 1 year waiting and thinking, okay, before entering. It wasn't just like that. So when I will role play, these are from Olympus characters, cosmic characters, infinity, eternity, from the lanterns, Barbarata. Well, characters that they are from DC Comics, but they are not like from Star Wars. There are science fiction in the future. These are cosmic comics, which belong to entities from space and matter. like matter or emotions with the lanterns. I painted this, but there were all the Nordic gods and some of Tolkien agents. So here I already have 4 verses. So what I would have more boards, because there are other characters there. For example, there are more verses, but when I was role playing, I would at least get to see which card would I use, which card, which card, because each character has certain traits and powers, capabilities. Yeah, this one can make you laugh because it's the little one, but it's so in this entrance, you see, not everyone has the potential to bring a character for the entrance, which is like an ambassador, or is the one that's going to herald the story. So this role playing is not just like that online. You need all these characters displays. You need to be on 1 verse or 2 verses to kind of like see the differences, yeah, and move on. When you have already picked, okay, I'm going to use this one, then you need to see, not every role players like me, of course. I have played wars with so many groups at the same time, 9 wars when I counted them. And we have veterans that are role players. They are one of the best role players, and it brought healing to them. So this is an art that should not be used to alter people's life in real life. This is why it's sensitive to see now. Even if you think, okay, it will be for a good purpose to destroy Russia because they are destroying Ukraine and it's not fair. They must think they're superior to be destroying and killing others. Like if they have a right to do so. So how would the Russians feel? No, because there is no right to do that for no reason. They should return everything to the kings that they have stolen, that's been built through history with class and respect to the artists, the aristocrats, the patriarchs who embraced art, writing, education, and promoted in this way to be the best country or of the best in the world at large. Russia is so big thanks to them. If there was a resented person or generations, they could never have conquered so far. Because conquering is not just to destroy, to conquer is to seduce, to bring glamour. So the best deal you can do, Putin, is that you want to be part of virtual reality and have a piece of cake, and that you will stop this war and retrieve your troops from the piece of land that is Ukraine, where the beach is. At least that part of the beach, but create a good discourse for your people to get ready that we're not going to be watching TV, people's movies. We will watch them and use their characters that you will embrace the Russian characters, that this war has been in the private, and you've been participant of watching it. And that has been solved. Has it been solved? Not really. Nobody has come to me because everyone washes their hands. It's like, yeah, we're all watching, but we don't want to be involved. Yeah. Well, I got these pens. I recommend to everyone. They're beautiful. I won a lawsuit. So they are made in Taiwan. In Taiwan. And I don't care. The royalty in England, I think they support Parker, the pens of Parker. So beautiful, beautiful. They're not so expensive. Like this one, the ink didn't come. The black ink got lost in the mail. This one looks like the American flag or the British flag. So I will put black ink here for signatures. But this one has bent. You see that the tip is called a nib. The nib is for Italica. Yeah. So cute. I got this other one here as well. Again, character trace cards fell down. This one as well, that is Italica, but it is so thick. I'm gonna return this one because I don't want to have too many things. This one is the same one, and it's better to buy them in England, not in Amazon, but it take a little longer to arrive. The writing desk, yeah, like the same pen. I was like, gosh, well, and they have more. Beautiful. They're beautiful. So beautiful. So I learned that the black ink is good for printing and documents. Like in China, they only accept black ink, and it will last longer throughout time. So I thought, because I was gonna put here the red ink because it has this red thing here, right? So I thought it would be cool to see the red, but I thought, oh, it's not very inspiring, like for America and United States to keep writing on people's blood. So let's make it black. For me, is a meaningful form of we'll never give up anyways. So it's so beautiful, the blood color, right? This ink is from Japan. Hiroshizuku. Beautiful, eh? Beautiful. Oh, well, there's another one in blue. It's beautiful to imagine the one way or another. Just wonder how long it will take and how, because I'm putting my part. So I have put some patches there for my son agenda. There it is, planet Earth. That's Spain and England. I guess that's Mars, the sun in the background. I just did that. So I have put it on my agenda, which is for 5 years. Bill Gates says that one must know in 5 years what one is doing. So I don't know if you can see 2022. Some pages are empty, and I hope to draw with my children or myself. But for example, this page will be drawn when I get there. That was painted already in 2022. When I get there, next year, it will be another layer. And in other parts, I have not been very inspired. I copied this from some YouTube, so I will paint in here when I get there. Just patterns. I will get there. It took me a long time to set this house, the studio, but every time needs to change because of I don't have a garden house, so I have to move the bed to put the seats under the 2 windows. There was another one for these are the ages of my children, so each year will be a different one. There you go. So on so far. It's a little bit like that's more the one that this kind of will go with layers, I guess. That's like the because sometimes you can be very pride and sometimes all this arrogance. So it has his ups and downs. We are not really always up here. We always can carry the lowest as well, even while watching it. But even though one is not moving and watching these two, so much going on, really. Well, I hope my son likes it because the touch is beautiful. That's from Japan, Honobishi with H. Gosh. Well, that's mine. Like my son's, but I put the patch on the top. There, I should put this one here, which is planet Uranus. There, oh, no, or here, right? Just like that. So I know it's the front. Well, planet Uranus is the one of ideas. It's about nothing. It doesn't have any matter material because it's a planet that's contained by gas. But Uranus is the father in Greek mythology. Is the Titan. So the grandfather of Zeus. Long story there, right? Well, this one is mine. I would just leave it like that. Want to be more of this planet Earth. List for these 5 years. Yeah. Yes, we can bring good resources to outer space if we synchronize together and make it a little more matching all these scenes in the best manner as possible with one another. And once we get to see that we can do that, we will realize we have achieved a level of superhumans from this time in the history of life, where humankind has achieved an innate intelligence to trust one another. Because one is trusting in one's mediation, one's medium within all these values. So I would love to read some people's Honobishi agenda. I would love to, for example, give one for Catherine the Princess of Wales, so she can buy to her children as well. I saw a picture of her, and she's such a good actress. Like, she's always acting, and she's a Capricorn woman, so she's done very good to stand by and remain herself, whatever goes within or not. She's being a flower to the kingdom. Um, it's not that I want to read her agenda, but this week has been really like, oh my god, is Harry getting divorced? Really, like, oh, because many people are like, we don't want more of this drama. Whoever brought this drama. I think there are better ways to be notorious and cause impact. So yeah, I have to talk about the burning last in this storyline, which is entering in the heavenly earth, the burning last of all these memories that are willingly burning. Um, Meanwhile, is watching the entrance of the last pit of hell, which is treason. That's what people didn't like about Megan. Because it was like, but I think she made a good part of herself, standing up to whatever she believed it was her voice or her presence. I have always feel like I was her, but I always feel like I'm everyone I see. So take things personal for everyone I see. And then I see it as the whole scenario moving. Today I was listening to a Venezuelan comedian laughing about the divorce that she's asking for 80 billion million, and even though might be gossips. This week is the ex birthday, so it's a good entrance to start with, I guess. We're entering. So I have put the application in my lower four, the ones you use more in the phone, right? There are here. So yeah, where is it? I don't like the thick phones, but they're too heavy for my hands. How do you put it? It's still a bird there. So I'm going to learn a little bit more. Um, how to tweet more. How to entrance in the freethreshers.com of synonymous. You can find with entrance, there is the synonymous of way in, mesmerize, enchant, admission. You could also have uh, a visionary view, which is entering through you to bring on before you enter. But that entrance is already been lived before. As when you have harnessed the earth to bring vegetables, right? So is the providence. So appearance. So above, way in, splits for portal, inlet, ingress, means of access, way out, on above, on the right side, left side, cast a spell on, put a spell on, hypnotize, bewitch. On entrance synonymous below, enchant, spellbind, enrapture, gladden, ravish. Down, down below, admission, right of entry, ingress, permission to, admittance, entry. On the right, on the side, appearance, which splits with entry, arrival, introduction, ingress. And the opposite is egress. In the dictionary, entrance, an opening such as a door, passage, or gate that allows access to a place. The southern entrance of the palace, the entrance to a tunnel, as modifier, an entrance hall. 2. Usually in singular, an actor or instance of entering somewhere. At their abrupt entrance, he rose to his feet. Their entrance into the political arena. Another, usually in singular, the coming of an actor or performer onto a stage. Her final entrance is a triumphant princess. Next one, mass known, the right means or opportunity to enter somewhere or be a member of an institution, society, or other body. About 50 people attempt to gain entrance, an entrance examination. Phrases, make an entrance, also make one's entrance, an actor or performer. Performer, come on stage. Enter somewhere in a conspicuous or impressive way. I would always do that so people remember me. Quite extrovert when I want to, but introvert as well. She slowly counted to 10 before making her entrance. Origin, early 16th century, from Old French, from entrer, enter, which comes from Latin, entrar. It's funny because the English dictionary lies like 30%. They cannot tell nearly everything comes from the Latin, even though they have already invented so much. What does it need to lie in the dictionary? Okay, whatever. The English spoken people can think whatever they want. We know what we know. So it is not correct when you look at the dictionary and think that is a lie. They're not putting the other part of the truth. Well, I don't know what I'm doing very well, so I have to think about finance, what I'm going to do with this little money, if I'm going to get a normal job and just work so I don't expend all this money, so I can save it to prove that I have an income as moderate and modest it could be, to pay a lawyer in Canada, and to pay the entrance of a house if I can maintain it with somebody that I already thought about. So my mind is kind of all over the place, thinking to get my children. I sleep a lot, thinking of everything I have gone through, and just to rest, I can rest. And always thinking, what can I do to get my children? Sometimes I think I have to be a millionaire to get them. So I lost the McDonald's trial, what that was for recycling. Wish I could bring it back in in private, so they fixed the system of recycling, which I had a solution, but I need uh, to pay like 45 for a lawyer to bring it to high court, and I will need to prove with mental illness that I couldn't get it before. So it's not easy because I cannot do everything. You can be a genius, but you cannot do everything without resources. It's impossible. You can be a genius, but you cannot do anything. Einstein was supported by government, by man, by Jewish, and his wife. So I have all the odds against me. Just being a woman is good enough to have all the man against you. Everything that is been ruining my life is been in the hands of men for one reason or another. uh, any kind of man. So I'm not expecting the best really from men, but they're the only ones there to deal with this. So you gotta deal with it, right? So I'm just telling you, if you come to talk about universal love, universal understanding, and then they start fighting, and it's like, look, I could care less of that because I care more about what this world needs right now. So you cannot put yourself before the other or one person or the other when you have universal love. I have universal love. So it's not that I can do whatever I want, but respecting the situation to enjoy your life without bringing more drama because there is a lot to do and cover. So it's amazing. It's amazing to see what's going on, what people are doing in the Congress, what people are doing in America, what Twitter has provided for people to speak the truth, what Prince William is doing with his awards for Earthshot and protecting the kingdom, which hierarchy is to be respected. So there is good and bad, and you can only think about how important it is to maintain. When you have property, a sense of property, you think how important it is to maintain everything you have done and your ancestor has done for you. To be right now here for what you carry. So, to speak the truth, this is something for everyone because we all have our own hierarchy within our space. And this is our entrance to the world. I don't want to talk and create content. Um, I always wanted to be a script writer and help people to get to a higher level. If possible, they stop playing video games or watching movies or other people online and create a more substantial movement with themselves and their own learning what boundaries they have in their life and what they can do with others. These are moments that are crucial, and everyone matters. As little you think you are to cover it all, you can take your part in your step and see that entrance already. That's providence. Providence, one of my favorite words, is used in agriculture. Providence, the protective care of God or of nature as a spiritual power. They found their trust in divine providence to be a source of comfort. Another sentence. Providence, God or nature as providing protective care. I live out my life as providence. Decrease, like decreto. 2. Timely preparation for future eventualities. It was considered a duty to encourage providence, but it's also used for the harvest. You know, you have a good, you have harnessed the earth, you have worked the earth, and it brings a good providence for everything you have done already. So it's not just like that is the entrance. It's random. Yeah. So well, that's all for today, and whatever tomorrow. I hope it's not a repetition of the same. Next week would be celebration with August. Somebody tweeted that Stephen King. I love Stephen King. I can't believe that I could just write something there to Stephen King, and I'm not gonna tell where I read his books, but he's been an inspiration for me to write for Styx, the River of the Underworld, and it's just there's so many good authors out there. But I would read him; he would be like just making love with the words and dancing with them, and I would be like, I would just eat the pages. And I got a DVD from the Misery, one of the books that he wrote that were like exquisite to read, because I always try to think, what is he doing to me? What is he doing to me to that I can't stop, right? So and it's terrible. It's terrible. So and I love it. I love to write horror because it makes me laugh. People laugh out of it because that's the point for me to write horror and macabre stories. Uh, um, those are giving scenarios that can only happen in that way. It's not just like that. So scenario, as my father, who made 4 movies and had a cinema school, he taught me everything about movies before studying it from early age. So he would always talk with the movies and teaching. The scenario is the entrance of the movie before you see the actors. So you are situated already there. And you enter inside the movie. On the first seconds, it is the most important part. So you don't change the channel as well. Yeah. I would walk off a theater because my time is more important. Even if I'm doing nothing, it's more important. It's just, I'd rather be role playing than filming this, because it's my time with others is more important. Now there are many who are sacrificing this time So you get it. You get your piece of cake, you get your cookies done, you get together so we can share this to you, or at least one person, until the other ones get ready. And it's very simple and beautiful. I wonder what my books are gonna be when I put them, the final ones, in the boxes. So this has been a scenario that I will remember. That's why I kept my what I have filmed to remember these days and rescue a moment in life that meant a lot. Um, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid. You are free to enjoy all your wealth and talent, show yourself to the world, and play. Nothing wrong is going to happen. You make it your way. So sometimes we need certain people to protect what we have, our foundations, because they will protect it better than anyone that is a good person. Yeah. For example, better than me. um, a sociopath can be one of the best tools to protect a kingdom or your house, or your own boundaries. All that contains yourself, an entity, is in a scenario if you have a sense of property. So there have been stories from Osho, stories of mystic masters from China, India, Japan, mostly. I don't remember the names. But he talked that a serial killer, once transformed, can heal, not only protect, kill the sickness and transform, heal. But it has the eye of an eagle, of a surgeon, to define what is sick and what is to remain. And whatever you thought was good, now is not good. So you must reflect that in this year 20, from 2022, 2023, 2021, 2020, and so on, so far, from before and after, you can make your own place fit better for the script. So everyone is going to take one step. If you cannot make that step, put someone else. So it eases the tension for you and the wall that you represent. I have done this because it takes a lot of courage to understand that other people can be players on your behalf and carry on for more generations than just yours, which is right now more important to nourish that person that is going to continue the next decades. That could be 5 decades, 70 decades. Then to hold on to power, because you're fighting for something that you must bring a providence to it. So you need a good story and good role models to nourish them, to carry your future, your name. The whatever has been told against you could survive thanks to that person, which is coming under your mastering to continue for this balance. Yeah. Where you might get out clean. But I have not done that, all right? It's not that I wish you for that, but this is happening. So it doesn't matter how much you try to fight it, it's already there, like Meghan Markle. It doesn't matter how much she will try to make a good image. A few people can like you, but for the whole world to value your work. We all make mistakes because of others or because of belonging. So this is not for everyone, of course. I have given my space to others so they can continue other things I cannot. So I can go on and move other matters like this one. So it hurts the ego to let go because one wants to be there. But then you understand they are greater sources to cover for more people, can multiply with synchronicity. And that is in your hands. Well, it'd be nice to speak every day, talk about the news and that. I will need some direction and a director, or people to criticize me is to be fair, bring it a name. But I don't really want to be doing this. So, well, yes, I want my children to have a good education. Could be Eton or anywhere really, but somewhere that's nice for them to be with. Of course, British Columbia is very nice. People are very nice there. So when I look at this neighborhood, it's always been like it's nice, but it's not. I don't know, it's like a continuation of what I left. So it must be for them as well to continue healthy, thanks to everything that Canada has given them as well. So it's meaningful for me that where I am going is going to be good for them. That is good enough. The kids here, they enjoy bullying and they push each other violently and they're laughing like if it's fine. Teenagers, and I don't want them to be used to that, like if it's okay. I have been in worst case scenario, and thanks to my education, I couldn't fall to that. even though I was friendly and that was the environment that raised me would create like an allergy. I would need to retrieve to recover myself from those scenarios in a library, in the library of university of UVic, in a studio that I had cleaned buildings, so I would have an organization with a profit, which is legal because I had no right to work in Canada. I have a tourist visa that I had extended for 3 times, 2 times. So it was legal to work as a volunteer or have your organization without finance. So I study organizations in Canada, which is the mother of organizations. They have incredible laws. To study more is another thing to talk about. So it's easier for people to see how it works because, well, everything is a career to learn, a profession. Cannot know everything as well as a professional would. It's very important for my children to have a good education and prove that I can bring them. So I will be focused in that. I can follow direction, and I can. I mean, it looks like I am not, but actually, I do follow direction and trust. Even if I have trust issues, of course. I mean, one has to take care, isn't it? Um, well, wish everyone well. Uh, take care. Bye.